Hi everybody, this is Gijs again with another review and I hope you are doing well. This time it is a sleeping bag. It is the Vaude Meglis Eco 700 Sin. And this one is rather special because it is very sustainable. But in the end of this video I've got some really bad news. Curious? Watch the video. Welcome to the review of the Vaude Meglis Eco 700 Sin sleeping bag. For those of you who are following me already, welcome back to the channel. For those who are totally new to my channel, welcome. It's a pleasure of having you. And if this is the first video that you see of me, then you might not know that I am a 100% independent reviewer. Manufacturers are not paying me for my reviews. So if you've watched the video in the end and you like what I do, then please give the video a like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps making more reviews in the end. Now let's continue with the Vaude itself, because this is really a special sleeping bag. But first, before I take it out of the pouch, let's start with the pouch itself. I measured it at 24 centimeters in basically diameter and a length of 34 centimeters. Vaude claims a length of 37 centimeters, so it's a bit longer. But what you can of course do is always compress it and then it will get even smaller. Now the weight, I weighed it on my precise scale and it weighs 1368 grams, and that's including the pouch. Vaude claims a weight of 1200 grams, so this one is a little bit more heavy, but maybe that's got to do with a little bit of humidity maybe, and there's also a little bit of tolerance of course in manufacturing sleeping bags. So this weight difference, it's not really a big deal. Now let me get from there to there so I can demonstrate a little bit better basically how this all works. And I'll be sitting on my knees. The sleeping bag, the pouch itself, it's got daisy chains on both sides, and daisy chains, they're very convenient because they've got these loops. You can attach a lot of stuff to daisy chains, but also if you want to connect this one on the outside of something, you can use the daisy chains. Now it is a roll top pouch and it's got these hooks on the roll top itself, aluminium hooks, and when I unroll the roll top you can see that there is still a lot of space inside the bag itself. So if you want to put like a jacket in there or maybe some extra pillow, that kind of stuff, it will fit. Now, the pouch itself, it is not a waterproof one. And I always like waterproof sleeping bag pouches. But talking to Vaude, or to Vaude, I don't know actually how you say this in English. I call it Vaude. Is that if you do a waterproof pouch stuff bag, and you have got a very fluffy sleeping bag, then when you put the bag inside the stuff bag again, it is of course very hard to get the air out. And that's why they didn't make it really waterproof. It's got a sort of waterproofness to it. So when you pack it, you can do like this, and you will get it really nice and tight again. Now, roll it, you know the trick. That's why they didn't make a waterproof one. What I do is I take this one, and if it's not that good weather, then basically I put a waterproof bag around it. Now let's get rid of the pouch itself. Leave it over here. And now I will show you the sleeping bag. And as you can see, this is a rather special shape. And like this, it looks rather short, which it is not actually. But let me take a picture that I made on our last holiday in Switzerland, where my girls, my two daughters and my wife are holding the sleeping bag and basically stretch it, because that's the whole secret behind the Meglis Eco 700 Sin. Now you've seen it, now you're back again. The whole point of the sleeping bag for Vaude was to come up with a new design concept for sleeping bags. What they wanted to do, if you know Vaude a little bit, Vaude is a very sustainable company. It's in their DNA basically. And one of the things with sleeping bags, not with the blanket ones, because blanket ones are basically rectangular and you don't lose that much of material on the side when you're cutting the pattern basically. But with mummie bags, you know, that one that are shaped like this, like the Egyptian mummy. That's actually where the shape comes from. You've got a lot of spillage on the edges. Now, it was Markus, he's one of the designers at Vaude. He is the inventor, Markus Ernst. He is the inventor of this concept, and I've been talking to him on a trade show on the ISPO when it was still possible to go to a trade show. This is again a Corona COVID-19 video, and we had a long chat about this. If you want to see this, I'll put the link below. You can have a look at that video, how he is commenting on the design he made. But he explained it to me very cleverly. When you have a piece of fabric and you buy it as a manufacturer, it's on a big giant roll, and it is of course in one rectangular shape. Now let me take my prop, I'll have to grab it, and this is the prop. It is a toilet roll. Now if you compare the toilet roll to the sleeping bag, it's not only the same color, but it also looks quite similar. Now this and this is both made out of a rectangular shape, and let me demonstrate this. Because if you take a toilet roll, and I advise you to do this at home, go to the toilet, finish a roll and get the heart of the toilet roll. And when you take a toilet roll and you've got this triangle part, if you take it carefully, then you can get it all off the toilet roll. Now what you end up with, and this one doesn't really work, but I made this one in advance of course, then you get this one, and then you get basically a shape which is like this. And if you look at this in this way, then you might see that if you expand it downwards and also to the top, that this is basically one big roll of cloth. And then when you cut it diagonally, you can make a round shape out of it without losing too much material. Now, Markus told me that this is not really the case, because they do some little bit of shaping, but before you get but the difference between the normal mummy bags and basically how they shape this one with this is the design in mind, they lose way less fabric, and in that way it is pretty sustainable. Now, let me get rid of the toilet rolls again. And let's continue on the sleeping bag itself. How it is now, it looks very small, but it is actually 225 centimeters in length. At the shoulders, basically here, it is 85 centimeters wide, and near the feet it is 55 centimeters wide. That's what you saw basically in the picture that I made with my girls and my wife. Now, how they get this into this shape is not only because of the cut of the toilet roll, because then it's still like a tube. What they did is they put elastic material in here as well, and that's what made it so stretchy. And because of this stretchy material, you get this mummy shape, but you also get this sleeping bag that really fits close to the body. It's really like a cocoon that you're lying in, a real mummy basically. But the big benefit of this one, of course, is that because it is so elastic, you've got a lot of freedom of movement in the sleeping bag itself. Like I mentioned in the beginning already, Vaude is a very sustainable company, and that means that the outside fabric is made out of a 100% recycled polyamide. On the outside there is a water repellency coating, a durable water repellent coating, which is of course free from the harmful PFCs. And if you want to know more about PFCs, have a look at one of my other reviews that I made on sleeping bags, because I'm talking a lot about this, and also in the tutorial on the soft shells, and I will put the links below as well, and I will put them as well on the end of this video as a link. So durable water repellent, and that is convenient because if you are in a tent, or like this one, you use a sort of a tarp, and this is basically the Hillenberg Anaris pitched like a tarp. I've got a review on that one as well, put it in the description below, so you can watch that one after you've seen this video. When you touch the fabric of the tent, it might be a little bit damp on the inside, condensation, maybe a little bit of dew from the grass. Then the sleeping bag itself still holds its isolation properties. Be aware that of course the seams, they're not sealed, so in that way it's only a water repellent fabric, nothing else. But the best thing about this sleeping bag is basically on the inside. And now I will have to maybe take a knife and cut a piece of fabric open. And again, let me dive into the prop department. And here I've got my let them in charge. And now just let's take a nice seam. You know what, we're not going to take a seam, I'm just going to cut right into the fabric itself. So that is a nice opening, and now I can show you that the inside consists basically of 2 layers. And now I'll have to cut a hole on this one as well, otherwise I still can't show you. Let's do it here. Whoa, that was a quick one. And now you will see that there are 2 types of material, or 2 layers of material. And it's this part on my right hand side, it is connected to basically the outer fabric and a inner layer. This part is connected to the inner fabric, which is of course the same post-consumer recycled polyamide, connected to the inner layer and to a layer inside as well. So these 2 are divided into the sleeping bag, which means that you've got 2 independent layers of isolation, and because they are totally independent, they can move around independently. And that is why the sleeping bag, because of all its elasticity and the snug fit, still is very, very comfortable. Because if you would not have these separate layers, you wouldn't feel that comfortable, and the freedom of movement would not be that big. But now the big thing on the material itself, the isolation material, and this is absolutely the first time that I've ever seen this or heard of it. It is a mix between Kapok and post-consumer recycled PET bottles. Now, Kapok, it is a tree, it's got a fruit, and in the fruit there is this fluffy material that basically protects the seeds. It's a fast-growing tree, so it takes way less water to grow to the production of cotton fabrics. Now, so Kapok, that's what inside is, with a mix of the post-consumer recycled PET bottles. The mix together is, by the way, called Primaloft Silver Insulation Natural Blend. And the big problem on this combination is basically the fact that it is a blend. Because when the Vaude is a very sustainable company and they use recycled materials, then at the end of the lifetime of any product, I think you should be able to recycle it as well. And that's why the problem hits with this sleeping bag. Because the Primaloft Silver Insulation Natural Blend is a blend, the basically friendly Kapok nature stuff is mixed together with the PET bottles. And when this is end of lifetime, there is no way yet in getting both fibers split in the recycling process. So when this sleeping bag is done with its life, the only thing that you can do is basically throw it away into the landfill, maybe burn it, or make some nice garments out of it, maybe bags, that kind of stuff. And that's a way of recycling, upcycling maybe. But that's the problem with this sleeping bag and with this, basically this material. Now, I said there was a sad story to this sleeping bag, and this is not it. So wait till the end. Now, that was on the design part. Now let's get into all the details of the Meglis. Now let me take a little bit more of a comfortable position, because I've got a bench for a reason. Now, because of this tube design, let me get the roll again. Because of the design like this, the zipper is also here. What happens if you make this into a roll again? Then you will see what happens with the zipper. It goes all the way like a spiral around the sleeping bag. Well, and that's basically what you see here. The zipper, this is where the foot end is, and then it goes all the way around to where your neck is. Now, I have discovered, and it's not really a discovery, but everybody will know, that if you have got a zipper in a regular normal sleeping bag, then it's on the left side or it's on the right side, and it's a straight one, and you can always find it in the middle of the night. Sometimes it happens with this one that when you have it open for a little bit, or when you have it closed and you want to get out of the sleeping bag or out of the tent, you have to spiral all the way down, And that's not always easy because sometimes you're just lying onto the zipper, and that's something that you should have, well, you should be aware of. Did it really bother me? No, it did not really. Now at the foot end, it's a two-way zipper. And of course it's a zipper from YKK. There is this zipper opening. If you open it, you can have some air from, for your feet if it's warm. And of course on the other side, what I also do like is that it's got a button here, so you can basically secure it when you're sleeping and you're a little bit restless, then you don't loosen the zipper all by itself. And the zipper, well, it goes very, very smoothly every time that I've used it. There's a reason for this, because behind the zipper there is a very nice sort of guiding rail that prevents the fabric from the inside of the Vaude not getting tangled up with the zipper when you open it and close it. It doesn't always work, it's not 100% foolproof, but most of the time it's fine. And because there is a very good pulling tab, it is also easy to use. Your hands are a little bit colder when you get into the sleeping bag. Now, when we're looking at the basically at the shoulder end, then there is a very big baffle. Where is it? There it is. It's a collar, and this collar goes around your neck and it prevents the warm air from your body basically escaping the sleeping bag. Did this one work for me all the time? No, it did not, because sometimes it goes that way, it goes that way. But if you are basically a not to move around a lot sleeping type of person, then you have to tuck this one away, put the sleeping bag tight over it, and it will stick there and it will keep your shoulders very, very warm. My wife, to be honest, she liked this a lot, and I don't know exactly if women are a little more vulnerable to cold onto the shoulder, but she really liked this collar. Of course, and it is so difficult to show you this because of this elastic material. The sleeping bag itself, it's got a very well filled, good fitting hood. I like it a lot because it prevents a lot of cold escaping from your head. The head is basically the point where you lose the most warmth if it's cold. So that is fine. And it's got a, where is it? Here it is. It's got a piece of rope with a toggle, so you can tie it more closely around your face and around your neck. Not around, and you know, there are two. One for the front part, and there is one for the hood itself. So if you are afraid of getting cold, don't be worried about it. Now, I mentioned the long zipper that spirals around the whole sleeping bag. On the other side, and if you take the sleeping bag like this in front of me, then you will see that this is the diagonal one, but there is on the right side, there is also a zipper, and of course also with a button, and you can open this, so when you are warm you just open both of them and you have some more, basically your upper body will get a little bit more air and a little bit less warm. It is also very nice that when you've got it like this, then you can use it like so, and you can still do some cooking while you are warm with the sleeping bag, but your arms are fully free of movement. And also, when you take this one and you want to go for a wee at night, and it is very cold, then you can put your feet out here and you can basically walk out of the tent without taking off the sleeping bag completely. One advice is that wear the hood as well, because otherwise the whole sleeping bag might tumble down as well. And be careful if you are going to do a call of nature job outside, and then don't pee or whatever on the sleeping bag, because that will be horrible. Now that I've mentioned the bottom part, you can see that there are two loops here as well, so you can hang the sleeping bag when it is being stored, which is always good because then it retains its full fluffiness. Now, with the sun coming out, it's maybe a good time to talk about the temperature range of the Vaude Meglis. The 700 has got a comfort temperature of 2 degrees, a limit temperature of -3 and an extreme temperature limit at -20. The comfort range is just that you and I can sleep a comfortable night without getting even a little bit chilly. The -3 is like a woman that has to sleep a decent night without getting chilly. So that's -3. And the -20 degrees, it's basically like a worst case scenario that you will survive in the sleeping bag when it is -20 outside, but you might have the risk of frozen limbs, frostbite, that kind of stuff. It's just a sort of a survival mode. And unless you do really extreme things, I would never take a sleeping bag because of the extreme temperature range. Now, in our life as a family, we've experienced the sleeping bag with about 6 degrees in very early spring to about 35 degrees in midsummer. With 35 degrees, even with the zippers open, it is a quite hot sleeping bag, and 6 degrees, it was absolutely fine. So the temperature, the comfort temperature of 2 degrees, we didn't have it, but it's probably spot on. Now, there is one thing that I did not tell you yet, and that is one of the details, and that was on the inside. I forgot about it. I like it when sleeping bags have got a pocket, and this one has one. And again, it's near the green shaped label, which is of course also good sustainability wise. And it's easy to find the zipper as well. And this one, again, a prop. It's big enough for my iPhone, so that is a good thing, because if you have your phone on the inside of the sleeping bag, it will stay warm, and that means that your battery life will be, well, longer. Get that one out of the way too. Now, I think I've covered everything that I wanted to tell you about the Vaude Meglis Eco 700 Sin sleeping bag. Now let's head over to my verdict. How do I rate the Vaude Meglis Eco 700 Sin? Well, in the first place, I really want to take my hat off to the people who designed the sleeping bag, because I really applaud the innovative way of thinking and making a new design on a existing, basically, mummie model. I also like the fact that they have been thinking very into sustainable solutions. The way the Toiletrol saves at least a lot of material waste. I think that is really clever. The mix of the isolation material, the Kapok and the synthetic material, I do like the feel of it. And the sleeping bag, we've been comfortable between, let's say, the 6 and the 25 degrees. When it gets warmer, a sleeping bag is really too hot. When it gets colder, well, we only had like 6 degrees, so I cannot say what's below, but I expect it to be comfortable at 2 degrees, what Vaude promises as well. What I don't like about the material mix, of course, is that it is not recyclable at the end of lifetime, because the synthetic and the Kapok, it is mixed into one blend. And for the technique status at the moment, we cannot take them apart. So at the end of lifetime, you will have to throw the sleeping bag away, basically, or make something else out of it. A nice bag, a handbag, that kind of stuff. The cocoony shape. Well, to be honest, my wife and my 2 daughters, they love it. I don't hate it, but I don't particularly like it. For me, even with all the elasticity, I still have got this cocoony cramped feeling. So this is a very personal thing, and that's something, well, you will have to discover this for yourself. Now, the price. The Vaude Meglis Eco 700 Sin retails for 380 euros. And that is a quite, well, hefty price tag, to be honest. And because it is also not recyclable in the end, I rate the Meglis Eco 700 Sin from Vaude at 8.8 points out of 10 total. And now you've been waiting for the sad news. Well, the sad news is that this sleeping bag has been cancelled by Vaude. And why? Well, it's got to do with the price, but it is also got to do with the fact that they also came to the conclusion that if Vaude makes a sustainable product, it should always be recyclable. And because the isolation material is not recyclable yet, they decided to cancel the sleeping bag, which is a pity. But now, the price, if you go shopping online right now, you will find the Meglis way cheaper. So there is a bargain for you in this review. I hope you like this video and that it is useful to you. And if it is, please give it a like and leave a comment below. And you know, if you've got anything to ask, a remark to make, a suggestion, then please use the comment section, because that's what it's for, and I am more than happy to answer everything that you can throw at me. Now, if you really like the video, then please subscribe to my channel, because I really need your support to maintain this channel. And don't forget to hit the alarm bell so you know when I uploaded a new video. And new videos will be coming up. Next Wednesday I'll have a video of the Primus fire stick. Yes, a really small stove. So that's maybe useful to you as well. If you want to see more videos on sleeping bags, please follow one of these links, because I made a couple of them more. And if you want to see the review also of the Hilleberg Anaris that I made a week ago, then please follow the link below in the description. If you continue watching, have fun. If this is all for today, then enjoy the outdoors and stay safe. Ciao, ciao! And what I'm going to do now is just take my sleeping bag and go into the shelter, because it is starting to drizzle a little bit. That's what they call delivery just in time.